If you're looking to hit that free hit button in game week 18, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate team in today's video. Before we get into today's free hit, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please hit that subscribe button as we are trying to hit 3,000 subs by the end of the year. And if we could do that, it would be absolutely immense. But let's dive straight into the team. Starting off in goal, we are going to go for Dubravka. I think arguably Newcastle do have the best fixture in this game week. Maybe Villa do top that with them being at home, but Luton away, we've gone with Dubravka. I think Martinez also is a fantastic option, but with Newcastle's defensive options pulling up injured, you're looking at Fabian Schär, the likes of Kieran Trippier, who we do have on the bench, but again, he missed out this week on suspension, and there was a slight knock as well with him, and I have kind of thought he has looked a little bit leggy in the past few kind of matches. So I think going for Dubravka does just make the most sense. He's going to be in goal. I think it's very easy to pick him rather than gambling on one of the other defenders that might be fit, that might be injured, that might play, that might not play. So I think going Dubravka is the safe and easy route in goal for this game week 18 free hit. One thing to note though, Luton away isn't like an easy fixture. I think they're actually 11th for expected goals conceded at home. So, you know, not down the bottom like they are when they're away performance. So maybe could pose a little bit of a difficult task for Newcastle. But I still think Dubravka or Martinez are the best two goalkeepers that you could have on the free hit for game week 18. Moving on to our first defender, and it's going to be Pedro Porro. Obviously a very popular pick after game week 17 and his impressive performance against Nottingham Forest. I think it is a matter of time before he does come away with an attacking return. Looks super good. Massively passed the eye test for me. Included him in yesterday's transfer targets video as well. If you haven't checked that out, go to the channel and go and see that. Some really good recommendations in there for game week 18. And Ped Porro was one of them, putting up really good numbers as well. 3 assists for him in the past 5 game weeks. My only concern is Spurs did look a little bit shaky, and over the past 5 to 6 game weeks, their XG conceded has been pretty woeful. So maybe not getting a clean sheet against Everton, who attacking wise have looked fairly good so far this season. So I do think that one could be a little bit of maybe a potential banana skin, but I still think Ped Porro is up there as, again, one of the players that I would be looking to target in this free hit. Moving on, we're going to go for Pau Torres. He's been absolutely sensational at the back for Aston Villa, up to 4.7 million for him. Sheffield United at home, it is the best fixture. Villa are 15 games unbeaten at home now. You don't expect them to concede in this game. Pau Torres as well always seems to be in that starting 11. You can pretty much bank or guarantee him playing in those games as well. So I think he is just a very smart pick to go for. I think Diego Carlos, who's on our bench as well, is another good option. But with Konza, there might be a slight risk of rotation over this busy festive period. So he might see himself drop to the bench. But at 4.4 million, if maybe for some reason you need a little bit more budget, I doubt it. But Diego Carlos could offer himself up as a good Pau Torres replacement. Moving on to our final defender, and it's going to be Levi Colwill. I do think maybe going for the double Newcastle defence would be more beneficial, but like I said, with the injuries, suspensions and all that good stuff, I can't quite pick who's going to be playing in that team. So we've gone with Colwill. A clean sheet for Chelsea today. They look very solid. Wolves away, it is a difficult place to go, the Molineux, this season, but I think off the back of that performance, Chelsea will go into that game with a lot more confidence. Levi Colwill, sorry, was playing left back today, so could see himself potentially rotated with Cucurella, who has at times this season played well. So if you wanted to go for maybe a more nailed defender, I probably would say Thiago Silva is going to be that one. He picked up 2 bonus as well today, but he is on that little bit more of the pricier side. So if budget is a problem for you, maybe Levi Colwill is the way to go. Moving into the midfield, and it's going to be one of those picks that is all there just for the free hit. And someone I wouldn't usually recommend, but it's a free hit. You've got to have a little bit of fun, some differential picks, and it is going to be Alex Iwobi. Burnley at home, very good fixture. Burnley, they're not quite there, are they, this season? They are probably going to go back down. Fulham today didn't perform well, but they were down to 10 for a large majority of the game, about 78 minutes or so. They were down to 10, so that's going to completely change the dynamic. But in the past 2 games where they won 5-0, I thought Alex Iwobi was absolutely instrumental into the way that Fulham play. Him and Pereira are probably my top 2 picks if you were to go for a Fulham player on your game week 18 free hit. Both of them have been stupendous, and and like I said, are so crucial to kind of that free-flowing, ebbing attack that Marco Silva wants to play with his forwards, and those two are linking up phenomenally. My only concern with potentially going for Iwobi over Pereira is the fact that if Willian is still out, Jimenez now suspended, I probably would say that would put Pereira on penalties, so that might potentially sway it. Takes a mean free kick as well, but I've been very, very impressed with Alex Iwobi, so just wanted to give him a shout out, but I do think Pereira from Fulham could be another good option. Moving on to our next midfielder, and I do feel like this one is someone you just need to have. It is Mohamed Salah. Been very consistent at home so far this season. Obviously scored his 200th goal for Liverpool as well. A club legend now. An absolutely fantastic player in FPL. Obviously the fixture in game week 18 isn't there for him, but I do still think he will deliver against Arsenal. That is why he's there. Obviously usually with a free hit, you just target the players that have the best kind of fixtures or who have been in the best form. But I think Mo Salah is one of those players who is a little bit fixture proof. All it takes for him is to get a penalty. With it being at Anfield as well, I just think it makes sense to keep Mohamed Salah if you already have him, or if you are potentially looking to bring him in for this game week 18, he would be a player that I would be having in my side. Moving on to our next midfielder, and it is Gordon. Obviously, I briefly mentioned him accidentally earlier when I was talking about Kieran Trippier, but it is Anthony Gordon, an absolutely wonderful, wonderful player. Over the past 5 game weeks has been putting in some terrific data despite dealing with some injury issues. Like we spoke about, that Luton away fixture, absolutely golden for them. Newcastle are slowly starting to get players back. The only concern with potentially going for Anthony Gordon is the fact that Newcastle play in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday or Wednesday night. If he plays that game, he could see himself rotated out of the Luton fixture, but overall I think he is a great, phenomenal pick to go for game week 18. Moving on to the man next to him, again another player that I included in my transfer targets video. Very impressive against Sheffield United, could have easily picked up more attacking returns. It is Cole Palmer, takes penalties as well for Chelsea, an absolutely invaluable asset at times during the season in this game. I'm really impressed with this guy. He is fully the best player that Chelsea have. As soon as he goes off, the game completely changes dynamics. He is absolutely wonderful, massively passing the eye test, picking up positive points and performances and underlying data as well. So for me, a real no-brainer. Yes, the fixture isn't like 100% amazing, but I still think I would be having Cole Palmer on my game week 18 free hit if I could. Moving on to the next one, arguably a little bit controversial. It is Son. Obviously, the game against Nottingham Forest wasn't great. A lot of people bought him in after his impressive performance against Newcastle United, then didn't really do too much in that Nottingham Forest game. I feel that's sometimes the way it goes with Son. He is a phenomenal player at times, and then the next, dismal. Now, you arguably could go for a Richarlison, who seems to be in his purple patch at the moment. 3 goals for him in his past 2 games, but with Son being on penalties and his explosivity and clinicality in front of goal, he could very easily pick up another double-digit haul. So don't go kind of, he didn't do well this week, so I'm not going to put him in my free hit for next week. He still would be a player that I would be having at home as well. I think it's a fantastic fixture. He definitely will get opportunities, and with him being on penalties, I think it's just a real no-brainer. Right, let's move on to our 2 forwards. Finishing up the side, we do have Dominic Solanke. Nottingham Forest away, they seem to be in a little bit of a mess. Steve Cooper still hasn't sorted things out really. They did put in a more kind of upbeat performance, but I think with the form that Bournemouth are in at the moment, obviously their game against Luton wasn't completed today, but Dominic Solanke did still get himself on the score sheet. Whether or not that will count towards FPL, we're still waiting to see, but that's not really the kind of the priority at the moment, is it? But yeah, so he scored again. So I think that would be 5 goals in his past 6 game weeks. Absolutely phenomenal. He's leading the way in terms of expected goal involvements for forwards as well. So an absolutely terrific player, and one that I would be looking to get in right in his purple patch at the moment. Bournemouth as well in red hot form. So a player I would be looking to include on the free hit for game week 18. Moving on to the final player, and it's going to be Ollie Watkins. Sheffield United at home. Banging fixture. I absolutely love Ollie Watkins. I think he's the second best forward in the game at the moment, to be honest. There aren't too many other options that you potentially could go for up front. Maybe Jackson, as you can see, we've got on the bench. I think he potentially could be one that you might want to go for. But with Nkunku being back fit and amongst the squad now, I think we might see him start to integrate and potentially see Jackson come off a little bit earlier. But Watkins, a great shout for a player, arguably someone I think I'm going to captain in game week 18. Him at home, fantastic. Him against Sheffield United at home, even better, ladies and gentlemen. An absolutely terrific player. Had an amazing 2023, and I only expect that to continue into 2024 and continue into game week 18. Right, before we finish up, let's have a quick run through of the bench. We've got Leno in there. Burnley at home, a very good, strong fixture as well. Leno has been a very consistent goalkeeper performer this season as well in FPL. We kind of touched on Jackson there. I do prefer the other two forwards that we've got over going for Nicholas Jackson, to be honest. Diego Carlos, again, we already touched on him being a potential option if you wanted to maybe not go with Pau Torres or maybe couldn't quite afford him for whatever reason. And then finishing up, we have gone with Kieran Trippier. I think if we get the all clear, I probably would play him over Colwell. I do think he's just got that tiny bit more, not even a tiny bit more, a lot more attacking threat as well. Arguably the better fixture on paper as well. So he would be the player that I would be looking to go for. Let me know what you think of this free hit team down in the comment section below. If you're looking to hit that free hit button or have any general questions about your team, get them in the comment section and I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.